Or Panama hat, you know, when they kick things.
Don't touch it.
Susie's having a rough week.
Too weird for Kenyon. Really
Huh?
weird.
We're live on YouTube.
Live
All
on
right.
YouTube.
I never thought
All right.
I'd be a YouTube celebrity.
It is 5:30. Yeah, Susie's now an influencer on YouTube. Sorry. We're
Follow me.
like and subscribe. Sorry. All right. It's been a long day, so it is 5:30. So we are going to call the August 4th, 2023 Board of Zoning Appeals meeting to order.
October 4th.
October 4th. What did I say?
August.
Well,
So I
you
think we've
know.
had a meeting between now and then.
Yes, because the first after Miss Blankenhorn calls the roll.
Ms. Boucher.
Here.
Ms. Cunningham. Mr. Percy.
Here.
Mrs. Simpson.
Here.
Mr. Smith.
Here,
Mrs. Arianata. Mr. Eister.
Here.
We do have a quorum.
All right. With that, the October 4th, 2023 meeting is called to order, and the first item before us is approval of the August 23rd Board of Zoning Appeals special meeting. I'm assuming everyone's had an opportunity to read the minutes, and I would entertain a motion to approve those.
I move.
We have a motion from Ms. Simpson. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second from Ms. Boucher. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. With that, the minutes are approved for the August 23rd, 2023 Board of Zoning Appeals special meeting. The case before us today is 2023-BZA-21, 212 North Main Street, variance for signage. Is there a proponent of the proposed variance request before us? Please come up and be sworn in. There's a little card there. Read the card.
My name is Noel Alden. My address is 103 South Main Street. I'm an attorney for New Directions. I affirm that my testimony is truthful to the best of my knowledge and ability, and so help me God, or under penalty of perjury.
All right, what are we attempting to accomplish, Mr. Alden?
Well, during the whole process of this construction, where COVID happened and everything else, we evidently got ahead of you folks, and we apologize, because we have a sign that is clearly not at present appropriate and doesn't comply with the zoning. It has every desire. We have every desire to try to remedy this, to fix what we need to do to make this work. You can see from the size of that sign that it exceeds your requirements. If you actually look at the actual written part of it, it actually falls within the requirements. So it's from my perspective the base and the holder that greatly exceeds it. It's consistent with the other signs in that area. The Living Center has a sign that's almost identical and is a very similar size. So I think that was the concept. When we became aware that it was in excess, we filed the application, and we're here trying to remedy that and make sure that we're all on the same page. We actually think it's incredibly important for us to have a sign of that nature for what our nonprofit purposes are. In fact, since we've been in that new facility, we've had walk-ins that we've been able to put into emergency shelters because they were able to find us. They've never been able to find us before. And that has been an exciting thing. I have with me Lindsay Lamp and Katie Steele. Lindsay's the interim executive director and Katie is the director of operations. And so they're doing God's work, and I'm just trying to help them out as best I can. So with the conversations I've had with these folks, the nature of the sign and its visibility has become incredibly important for this mission, which I think we all share, which is to help those that have been abused in family circumstances, to find some place to be, to get the counseling that they so desperately need. And this has allowed us to do that. I don't want to overstate that, but it truly is been remarkable, the walk-ins that we've never had before because of where that's placed. It is, as you well know, in a junction of business to residential. So once again, we think the sign is important because this has been a house for a long period of time. It was a funeral home before that, but so that people know that it's there and know where to find us. I think it is consistent with the businesses that surround it. And so that's kind of why we think this is appropriate, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you folks might have.
What businesses surround it?
Sure, the Living Center right there has a
That's
sign.
across the street, and that's the rear entrance to the.
Yes, and it has a sign that's very similar in size and nature of this one, that's correct.
That surrounds this?
It's next to it, it's across the street, yes.
Yeah.
But it's.
But there's no other businesses beside this or on up the street? There's a thrift store?
There's another store a little further north that has a sign that's similar to that, but it's beige, I believe, as opposed to white.
What was it?
It's beige, I'm not sure, what's the name of the, I don't know what the organization is.
It's the,
It's like less than a block up on the side of the living center.
Yeah, it's on the other side of the street as well.
Okay, okay.
The nursing home.
and there's a church.
Susan
Rose
Zuki's
Garden.
has a financial planning,
Yeah,
I
Susan
think is
Suki's,
what you're
yeah,
talking
Money
about.
Concepts.
the corner of Burgess and Main.
So our sign, we did put the address on it, but we know we have to make the address bigger. We were just trying to get something on there right away because we also understood that we needed the address. During the process of COVID, we fell out of compliance. There's no question. We were focused on getting this done. Our prior executive director did a magnificent job in trying to get this construction done, but this is something that got left, that got missed. There's no question about it.
And I'll just say, I mean, they came to got variances for everything else.
I don't know, have any idea why this got missed. It's
And
fascinating.
they really should have. Everything
Yeah.
else got it. It would have been easier to do it all at one time.
Absolutely. And I am not telling you.
So-
Yeah, there's no excuse for it. We
Um,
should have done it. No question.
So, clarification, Lindsay, Lacey, sorry.
Okay.
The code is 20 square feet for OI, is that correct?
For an individual sign, yes.
For an individual sign? Okay, all right. And so we're asking for an exception to 32 square feet? Is that, and we do have to, in that type of sign, we do have to consider all surface area, not just the lettering, correct?
Correct.
Okay, just making sure. All right. Any additional questions?
Is there, no, is sign lit at night?
It is not. I hadn't been driven there by night, so I had to check and make sure for my people.
Okay.
Has it already been approved by the historical?
It is not. It normally is supposed to go there first, but
We filed those applications at the same time.
He did file it. I was waiting to get this fleshed out before I presented it to the
okay,
Historical Review Commission in case this changed the submission.
because she thinks we're the bad guys.
well,
She never said that out loud.
Thank you.
All right, any additional questions? All right, I got to go through the steps. So are there any other proponents of the proposed variance request before us that would like to speak?
Do you guys have anything you want to add?
Are there any opponents of the proposed variance request before us?
I do have a question
Okay.
here, no. Can this sign be cut down and saved? Could you?
I do not think.
Going from 20 square feet to 32 square feet is a big jump. And nobody's questioning new directions. I was there when Mary Hendricks sat right here in his courtroom in 1983 and watched the court. Been dealing with a wonderful organization. But it does look like a billboard when you drive by there. It really is, it really sticks out.
If we could have inexpensively fixed the
Well,
situation.
that's my concern. Yeah, I know what
we
you're-
would have done it already. There's no question. It'd be because of how it is constructed. It will require a complete
So-
removal and brand new sign. There's no question about it.
Okay.
All right. All right, thank you. Again, no opponents of the proposed variance request. Are there written or verbal communications regarding the proposed variance request?
I did not receive any outside communications. I do have the staff report.
All right. Would you like to read that into the record?
October 4th, 2023, case 2023 BZA 21 for 212 North Main Street, parcels 66-04563.000 and 66-04564.000. A request for a variance for signage has been submitted for 212 North Main Street by New Directions. The property is zoned OI, Office Institutional. This zoning designation permits a single sign to be up to 20 square feet. Ground signs are permitted to be up to 6 feet tall and are required to be 10 feet from the right-of-way. These regulations were not changed with the last sign code update in 2018. The sign has already been installed. It is 32 square feet and 5 feet tall. The sign is 13.5 feet behind the sidewalk. The address was added to the sign after the application was made. The address is 2 inches tall. Code requires the address numbers to be 4 inches tall. This requirement was relayed to Katie at New Directions, and they are in the process of having the address updated to be compliant. If a variance is approved, allowing the sign to remain, the cost of the zoning permit will include a fine for installing without a permit. The sign will need the approval of the Historical Review Commission also.
All right, thank you, Ms. Blankenhorn. All right, so that's all the communication. I would entertain a motion at this time.
I move that
Do you want
we,
discussion on
We do the motion, then
Okay.
discuss. So
I move that we accept the variance as presented.
we have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion.
I think I've already voiced my opinion here. And I remember Goldman's, which is out of business, wanted to increase their signage on their building, which you couldn't even observe from a public street. And the board determined that was too much of a request. It was too large. And from 20 feet to 32 feet, I think it is too large.
Any other discussion? Anyone? No? All right. Thank you, Mr. Ace.
Thanks.
Ms. Blankenhorn, call the roll, please.
Ms. Boucher,
Yes.
Mr. Percy,
Yes.
Mrs. Simpson,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Eister.
No.
All right, with that, 2023-BZA 21 is approved as submitted. Is there any additional business before us, Ms. Blankenhorn?
I don't have anything.
All right, with that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
We are adjourned. Thank you very much for your time.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you.
So why is it,
No kidding.
why is it Chip
I
Riley?
saw, I've been
He's
retired.
Is he old enough to do that? Is he old enough to do that?
Well, he is.